So here, mutually exclusive events means that the occurrence of one event resists the occurrence of another event. That means exclusive. Exclusive means they are totally separate. The chances of happening both the events is different. That means when one event occurs, then second event does not occur. That means it does not take any place to occur. So we say that both events are mutually exclusive events. For example, you must be knowing, or during the school level you must have seen one more example of a pack of cards which we play. It contains, a pack of cards contains total 52 cards. So 52 cards, there are lots of events we can put on this game. Suppose we assume the event of getting a black or red card. Black or red card. So this is the one event and this is the second event. So when we draw a black card, then this event does not affect on the another event, because this is totally different. Because in the second one we are taking the chance of getting red card instead of the black card. Suppose we consider another example. Suppose we think of one example just like town. Suppose we talk of, there is a one town, Navsari. Navsari is in Gujarat and Navsari town is in India. See these two events. One event is Navsari town is in Gujarat and Navsari town is in India. So these two events are not mutually exclusive, because Navsari is in Gujarat as well as in India. So here another example, a live person can't be dead at the same time. It never happens. Person is live and the same person is dead. Doesn't occur at the same time. That means the events, in a short form we say that the events which does not occur at the same time are known as mutually exclusive events. Then we will go for another exhaustive. Here one thing you remember that we will more elaborate on mutually exclusive events. Here exhaustive events. Exhaustive event means a set of events is said to be exhaustive when it includes all possible outcomes of a trial. Exhaustive means which includes all possible outcomes. The event, one more time you listen that. The event which includes all possible outcomes of a trial is known as exhaustive event. Just like we toss a coin. If the event includes all possible trials, that means there are only two outcomes, head and tail. So it includes heads and tail both. So this is known as mutually exclusive event. And we can simply understand that exhaustive event is nothing but sample space itself, because we know that sample space itself includes all possible outcomes. Then we will see about compound events. So here I am defining compound events, but the same thing we will also see in the next article, compound events. That means it is nothing but we can consider the probability of the joint occurrence of two or more events. Two or more joint occurrence, not different occurrence. That means here the two events occurs simultaneously. That means if we toss two coins at a time, that means two coins are tossing, means both the first event for first coin and second for second coin are occurring at the same time. So we call this as compound events. Then let us see independent events. It is also very much important to know independent. By name, it is very clear that we will have two events, and the two events are not depending on each other. So this is the two events which are not depending on each other is known as independent events. Suppose as an example, we consider one experiment of one box which contains three red balls and four white balls. We want to perform two different events. The first event is to get the red ball, and the second event is again to get a white ball. So during the first event, if we draw a red ball, and before the second trial, if we don't put the first ball which we have chosen in the first trial, then certainly it will affect on the probability of the second trial. In this case, we say that the two events are dependent. But if we put the ball which we have selected in the first trial once again in the box, then there will be no effect on the second trial. So in this case, we will have two independent events. The first event we will call as without, that means this event we will call as with replacement. So independent events means without replacement. With replacement, replace means the same number of balls will remain in the box. And dependent events means if we don't replace the ball which we have selected in the first trial, then the two events are said to be dependent because the number of balls will be reduced in the box. So certainly it will affect on the second event. Now, so these are the types of events which we have to understand. Mostly we will have to know about mutually exclusive events, compound events, independent events and dependent events. These four are very much important among all other because we want to use them repeatedly. Now, by using these cases, we will go for probability, how to find out probability. But before going to the topic on finding the probability, just I would like to put a break between these two, and I would like to explain the another topic, counting which topic is useful during the learning of probability, because this concept is very much helpful in the study of probability. Without knowing this concept, we cannot go further. And this is not the difficult one, counting. Counting is based on the number system. You also know this very well. Once if I will write this on the board, you will realize, yes, this we know. So here, first of all, we see about fundamental principle of counting. No need to remember this. Just you can know its use. Fundamental principle of counting. That means if some operation, certain operation means the procedure which we want to do. Suppose tossing a coin, this is one kind of operation. So if some operation which we perform in some particular operation, it is performed m ways, and another operation is performed in n ways, and if we want to find out the total number of performances, then what will we do? The simple, in this case, we will make the use of fundamental principle of counting. That means, once again, if a certain operation is performed in m different ways, and second operation is performed in n different ways, then their simultaneous occurrence, that means the performance of simultaneous both the operations simultaneously, which we can do is in m into n ways. So this is the very simple thing. Suppose, let us see one example. Suppose a government, suppose a government provides instructions in 12 regional languages. You must be knowing that the paper of JEE is also coming in different regional languages. And 7 other projects are there. 7 other projects are there. In how many ways? In how many ways can a person choose one regional language, and one operation? So here, let us see. Government provides instruction in 12 regional languages. That means one operation can be performed. That means selection of language can be performed in 12 different ways. That means here we will have in the solution we can write down that and one more thing here during the explanation I will not write the sentence completely because I am speaking to you, but you must write in your tutorial notebook or assignment notebook or in your practice notebook, and mostly in your examination, the complete solution of the question. That means first of all you should write that the regional language can be chosen in 12 different ways. That means m equal to 12 different ways. Then the second operation is of choosing project. So the project can be chosen. In the second line you may write down that the project can be chosen in n equal to 7 ways. Then the final answer. Therefore the total number of ways of choosing one regional language and one operation is equal to m into n equal to 12 into 7, and this value you can find very easily. So this is the use of fundamental principle of counting, and it is very simple to understand. Now, let us see, after fundamental of counting, we will have two important things, permutation and combination. Permutation and combination. You have already studied these two topics also in your school. For Gujarati people, permutation means kramchai and combination means sanchai. So here we will study about kramchai and sanchai. First of all, we will see about permutation. Permutation means the number of ways of arrangement of R objects among N objects. So here, this is very clear to understand that we are given N objects. Suppose at present you have on table, you have stacked 10 books. That means N equal to 10 books. One on another. In this way you have stacked 10 books. And if you want to arrange 4 books, among the 10 books, here the one word is very much important, arrangement. So how will you arrange 4 books out of the given 10 books? So here 2 options are there. First, out of the 10 books you will have to identify 4 books. You don't know which books are to be identified. So 4 books you will have to identify. Then 4 books you will require to arrange in different orders. Suppose there are 4 books of you have selected is the book of Maths 1, Maths 2, Maths 3 and Maths 4 out of the 10 books. Then these 4 books, after selecting 4 books, you will require to arrange them. Then there are different kinds of ways of arranging such 4 books. You can put first M1, second M2, third M3, fourth M4. Or you can put first M1, then M3, then M2 and then M4. So you can arrange these 4 books in different ways. So here 2 things are required. You will have to select 4 books out of the 10 books, then to arrange them in different orders. So this total number of ways, the number of ways of doing this process is known as a permutation, and this we want to find, and this cannot be obtained easily. For that we have one simple formula of NPR. You must be knowing in school, from school level, that we are denoting this by NPR, the number of R objects arranged to require to be arranged out of N objects. N factorial upon N minus R factorial. This is very simple one. This is denoted by NPR. Sometimes we may also denote this as P N comma R. So you don't get confused. Then the symbol is P into bracket N comma R is used. Both are same symbols for the permutation, and the definition is N factorial upon N minus R factorial. So here, for our example, 10 books and 4 books. Here n equal to 10 and r equal to 4. So we have 10p4. 10p4 equal to 10 factorial upon 10 minus r. That means 10 minus 4 means 6 factorial. And factorial you must be knowing. What is factorial? Factorial means 5 factorial means 1, 2, 3, dot, 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 5. The product of the numbers starting from 1 and up to 5. N factorial is 1, 2, dot, 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 up to n. Okay. Sometimes, suppose 5 factorial, we can also write as 3 factorial into 4 into 5. We can write down with the short form. You must be knowing, so I am just explaining the short form. 15 factorial here can be written as 12 factorial into 13 into 14 into 15, because actually it is the same thing. 12 factorial means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. Then it continues with 13, 14, 15. So here to solve this one, 10 factorial we can write down as 6 factorial into 7 into 8 into 9 into 10 divided by 6 factorial. So then you can find out this product by using calci or manually, whichever the technique you will like easy to perform. So this is the kind of permutation. So permutation involves both the things, selection as well as arrangement. Both things we will require. Let us see one particular example. Suppose we are given 11 cars, and from this we want to make the arrangement of 4 cars, and we want to find out now the number of ways. In how many ways can we do it? Actually, permutation means the number of ways. In how many ways can we do it? So this is the very simple things. The total number of ways you must write down in solution. The number of ways equal to 11p4. 11p4 means 11 factorial divided by 11 minus 4. That means 7 factorial, and you can find out the rest of the procedure you can do very easily. One more example, let us see. Out of a pack of cards,